強く、優しく、美しく。Gokigenyo everyone, it's Lel, and in this video we're going to talk about episode 14 from Hirogaru Sky PreCure. Cure Flora graced us with her presence. It was lovely seeing her again at the end of the episode, representing Go Princess. I know lots of fans were eager and waiting to see her, and she is here, our lovely Cure Flora, our princess, our powerful flower princess. What amazing moments she brought us in Go Princess PreCure. But now let's talk about episode 14 from Hirogaru Sky. I believe this episode was PreCure on steroids. It was like a PreCure speedrun. If this episode was on any other season, they would have taken 3-4 episodes to go over what they went in one. So many things happened at once that at certain points I was a little bit overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie. And it's like PreCure speedrun. So we start the episode with the girls coming back to Skyland, and when they arrived there, I felt that the scene lacked a little bit of emotional impact. You know, the parents, King and Queen, they were so eager to see their daughter, and then they met her. They reunited with Elle, and that was it. Like, I was expecting a little more from that moment in terms of emotional aspect, like this bigger emotional reunion. But I understand that the episode was so rushed that they need to, you know, make time for other things. So first off, I really like the way they thanked the girls and like, you're free to go now. We're gonna take care and we're gonna take responsibility for what's going on. This raises a very weird question. This raises a question that makes things a little weird. In Elle's birthday, which was supposed to be a big moment for Skyland, there was absolutely no one to protect her. And okay, we have an explanation for that. Then we get introduced to Captain Shalala, and I absolutely love the design of that woman. What an amazing design that was. I love the design, I love her personality, and I also love her voice. It was really incredible. I'm really happy about her character overall so far. Very interesting one. I hope we get to see more of her and, you know, see other layers of her character. So far, really, really liking her. And I really like the scene that she appears. The crew, the Hirogaru crew, jumping to the side so that she can go in. And then Mashiro is always the one out. Like, here in this episode, it was so nice to see that. When the king says there were heroes from Skyland, I don't know if it was the king or the queen, she was like, oh no, we're not heroes. And the other two, they were just like living for that statement. I loved Mashiro's reaction. That is why I think Mashiro represents the viewers. You know, she is more like, more normal, a little bit more normal. I don't know how to convey that in words, but like, she is a little bit more regular than the other two that have like, the screws on Sora's and Tsubasa's heads are a little bit more loose than on Mashiro's. So I love that she is also us by asking, who is that? Who is that person? Why is there this silence here? Why is she so important? And then we get to know she is Captain Shalala, and we get to learn a little bit more about the Azure, I forgot the name, Azure something, that takes care of the security of the kingdom. And they were not there in Elle's birthday because they were protecting, or they were taking care of something else on another part of Skyland. So very cool. And then we see Sora showing her affection to the hero. That was very cute, and I really like how Sora is able to show that with no strings attached. That woman is the captain, she is respected, but Sora is able to hug her. Sora is able to show how much she likes her, and I really like that. You know, that's so cool. That's like super interesting. And then we get to another scene that also connects to the first episode. Sora was going to the capital of Skyland I don't know if that's the only part that's called Skyland or the whole place is called Skyland. I don't know, but Sora was going there because she was also wanting to join the Azure thing. That's what she was going for in the first episode. And then everything else happened and she came to Soroshido City, she became Pure Sky, etc. I really like that moment between her and Mashiro because, as we've said before, as we've talked about before, this, for them, is kind of their goodbye. It's kind of like, maybe we won't need to fight anymore. So Sora is going after her dream of joining the captain team, and Mashiro is probably going to come back and go to school. So they have a little bit, another heartfelt talk, and Sora says, Mashiro, I want to be your friend forever. Will you be my friend forever? I also love that. I mean, Hirogaru Sky is not afraid of going emotional places. And I really enjoy that. And so Sora goes to try and join the Azure something, and Tsubasa and Mashiro go and they go eat. And it's lovely how Tsubasa is like daydreaming about being called a hero, and he's going to be the babysitter. If he wants to, he can be the babysitter of L, but he thinks it's almost the same thing as being a knight. I love that. And Mashiro's like, they didn't say we're going to be her knight. They said a babysitter. Love that moment. And there's also this other aspect that they just glossed over, which is they could have anything they asked for, and Mashiro has nothing to ask for, which is something very fitting for her character. I feel like, at least so far, she is not a character with big aspirations like Sora and Tsubasa. That is making her stand out a lot in my opinion, and I am enjoying that. And then we go to see Sora's side. Now it's time for Sora to try and join the Azure crew. So one thing that I found kind of interesting and a little bit weird is the fact that the girls arrived to bring Elle back, and there was like the public that wanted to see her again. People were eager and worried about Elle. But I feel like a public coronation of the Cures would have made sense as well. As I said, this episode is packed, might not have had enough time for that, but still, it would fit because Sora joined and Sora was going to be part of the group, but we get to introduce to a new character, Betty, who does not accept Sora because Sora is joining out of the blue. And what if Sora is lying? I mean, that makes sense if you think about it, because, you know, they don't know Sora, and they don't know what Sora did, and they don't know if what Sora says she did is actually true. So, like, for outsiders, that is a questioning that would make sense. So Sora's like, I can do it, I'm good at what I do, and so test me. And that's what Betty did. So we get to a confront between both of them. An actual battle, and look, that battle choreography was so cool that it was better than like 95% of the Tropical Rouge fights. Honestly, Tropical Rouge PreCure, I'm so sorry, but like this fighting scene from Hirogaru was so nice, and it was so well choreographed, so well thought, so well constructed. I love it, and I also love the way Mashiro and Tsubasa arrive and they are not caring about anything. Girl, that was so cool. By the way, that vice captain is kind of hot, isn't he? He is so huge. Girl. Shala, I'm interested. Can you talk to him for me? Anyways, the battle itself was very nice, like very nicely choreographed. And something I find very interesting right now is that Sora is a dodger. Sora, if she were a Pokemon, she would be Pikachu that would use double team every time because her evasion is just out of this world. If she were an RPG character, her evade stats would be her max because she evades every time. And she was able to win without directly using violence. I also like the fact that she chose not to use any weapons. And so Betty was very frustrated. Sora won her place in the group. And then Shalala explains to Sora why Betty was so frustrated. I feel like the conflict between both characters, Betty Betty and Sora, was the bigger motive of the episode, the biggest conflict of the episode. And to be honest, I find that very interesting because so far, Sora has been craving a path of heroism that sees heroism in lots of different types of actions. The way people act around Sora is an example of heroism for her. At the same time, it's also interesting to pay attention to Betty Betty's side of the story. Because for Betty Betty, having other types of powers did not work in her favor. She had to have, and she had to find ways of gathering the what is considered strong, physical. You know, she had to go physical, even with her condition, with the problem that she had in one of her arms. That probably made her feel unworthy. And it made her feel, it not only made her feel unworthy, it made her feel useless because she couldn't even join the group. And she had to find ways of gathering traditional power. That's the word I was searching for. She had to go use traditional power. Sora, not necessarily. Sora was able to resolve conflict in so many different ways. Look at what she did to Kabaton in episode 12. She saved him. And that might for others, that might not be a heroic action. For Kabaton, that was, and for Sora, that is the hero that she is. So that's not a traditional vibe, but Sora has found her own path. Betty Betty couldn't find her own path. She had to undergo the traditional path, which is something that hurt her deeply because she failed 3 years. She lost 3 years of her life so that she could fit into the traditional role of power. And Sora, knowing that, understood that what she told Betty Betty, because she told Betty Betty that power is not the only strength, and Betty Betty felt very hurt over that, and Sora understood that with the context of everything, Betty Betty had every right to be feeling the way she was feeling. And so Sora stood up and went after her. Love that scene that she goes running and Tsubasa keeps on spinning. That was so nice. But someone else goes and finds Betty Betty first. This person is the new villain, Batamonda. What a nice villain we're having. I love him already, and I'm gonna get to that. Visually speaking, I don't know if I love him. I mean, I think I don't. I think his visual kind of matches the personality that he needs to have, but I don't know. I feel like for me, there's something missing. I don't know. There's something missing, but what he lacks in visuals, he gains in personality. But the makeup is everything. Baby, the makeup is everything. And then he goes to create his own Landborg, and he also summons the Underg energy, just like Kabaton did. I love the pose that he does when he is summoning the energy. And the Landborg appears, and the girls transform and go fight against it. So the fighting scene was also an amazing surprise. The people who choreographed this fighting scene were super creative, which is something I love seeing. I love seeing the Cures use their powers in so many different ways. The way Wang was using his flight, going around the Landborg and kicking the Landborg a couple of times. The way Prism was also using her Gatling gun powers. It was so cool. But Sora obviously was the coolest in this aspect because girl was living. She was really having her heroic moment, but not only being a hero was important for her at that time. She needed to save Betty Betty. Because one of the things that Batamonda did in this episode was create a Landborg over an object that was important. So this already sets him up in a different way than Kabaton. So I feel like maybe he will go after important items of people to create Lamborgs over them. That might be his gist, I don't know. Kabaton used other artifacts and other plans in his attacks. And there's also another layer to Batamonda. Batamonda says he won't fight anyone who is weak, which ties up to the theme of Underg Empire. Underg Empire only values the strong and the powerful. And what Batamonda was doing was that he won't fight anyone who is weaker than him. But Lamborgs are not him, so Lamborgs can fight the Cures, you know. And so the Cures fought, the Cures won. Amazing fighting scene. I love it. That's what I want to see going. Oh my god, that's what I want to see going forward. It was incredible. And at the end of the fight, Batamonda kept his cool in the entire episode, every scene he appeared. At the end of the episode, we could see a glimpse of a different Batamonda. Him getting angry and losing his composure. That was very cool. That we'll see him freaking out for sure in the future. I cannot wait to see that. Now I'm wondering if we're gonna have only Batamonda or we're gonna have more villains, you know, shifting. I don't know if they're gonna go the Kabaton route again. I am curious. Let's wait and see. And so the episode ended with Sora watching Betty cry, and Sora wanted to go after her and say she's sorry, but the Mashiro didn't let her. And I liked Mashiro's action in that scene because it felt to me that Mashiro was like, give her time. This is her space. That's her space she needs. Let her be. I like that. But I was also very happy that Betty turned around, went to Sora, hugged her and said, no, she didn't hug Sora. She said, thank you for saving her, and also I'm sorry because of what she did to Sora before. Sora went and hugged her. Love that. You know why I really like it? Because so far, before Hirogaru Sky PreCure started, we could see that Sora was a lone wolf. She was always by herself. She was always training. She was working very hard to be a hero. She had no friends. She had no one. And now she was able to meet the Hirogaru Sky girls. Mashiro is her bestie. Tsubasa, you know, they also like each other a lot. And now she's being able to connect with more people. She's being able to open up and enjoy friendships. So I'm really liking the progress they have made with Sora's character. I really, really love it. And what a ride this episode was. This episode was so wild. I really loved it. Crazy, but I really loved it. And my hero corner of this episode, my favorite moment of this episode, which is my hero corner, was when Sora asked to be friends with Mashiro forever. I feel like it's full circle. I feel like it was a very powerful moment because it really shows how Sora has valued their moments together. Being a hero is not the only thing that matters to Sora. You know, her friendship with Mashiro is also valued, and I dare say maybe as much as being a hero. I love that. Another thing that I would say is when Sora was able to hug Shalala. That was so cute. And I like that she's able to show this lovely side of her, and, you know, to be able to give a little bit of affection to her hero. That is something very nice. So, what an insane episode. Next week, another big attack on Skyland. I am very curious to see how this is gonna go, because I'm very curious, are the girls gonna stay in Skyland for a little more, for a little while, for a little longer, or are they gonna come back already? Very, very curious over this. Anyways, babes, this was my opinion on episode 14 from Hirogaru Sky PreCure. How did you feel about it? Did you like it? Were you as, like, starstruck as me with how many things happened in this episode? Girl, what a wild ride this was. Anyways, I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you are a member, thank you very, very much for your support. And if you watched the channel, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Gokigenyo!